It's time for your fan weather forecast, brought to you by Habish and Rotier. Partly cloudy conditions early, but otherwise a nice sunny day today with a high of 63 degrees. It's currently 37 degrees here in Milwaukee.
Eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up from home. Whoa!
On the corner, a called strike three. Sabathia only getting stronger here in the late inning.
And there was never a time in my career where I took the mound and I knew I was going to win a game. During those 2 months and 3 months in Milwaukee, I felt like every time I took the ball, I was going to win a game.
On the ground, a chance here. Durham to Hardy to first. In time! Yes! The Brewers win! Yes! Sabathia, a complete game. And the Brewers beat the Cubs 3-1.
I feel like CC Sabathia needs to wear a Wisco jersey tonight when he throws out the first pitch, because that would anything to help the cause.
Or does that just taint the rest of his career, his life?
Is it that bad? I don't think we can forget that audio courtesy of whatever network that was. It Fox Sports Wisconsin?
Fox Sports, I think at the time, plus an interview from MLB Network, honoring CC Sabathia,
who will be honored tonight in Milwaukee at the Brewers game. We'll get to that. What's up, Wisconsin, or is it Wisco? I don't know. Happy Friday. Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Listen, if playing for the Yankees doesn't tarnish CC Sabathia's thinking in regard to Brewers fans, then I guess nothing does.
Fair.
Let's play catch up.
Packers.
It's May 8th. This is your friendly offseason reminder that we have Micah Parsons as a Green Bay Packer. And he's a beast. Imagine having to try and justify what you got in that trade. Here's what it sounds like from the Cowboys side of things via Ian Rappaport on the NFL Network.
They had the $47 million that they didn't pay Micah Parsons. They could reallocate that, which they have done. They also have the draft picks that they got for him, which hopefully turns into, let's just say those are good players. So that's 4 or so good players spread around your roster. What the Cowboys had with Micah Parsons during that time was an extremely top-heavy roster. And they've had a top-heavy roster because they've had really good draft picks, and they paid those guys for years and years and years, which is fine, except if those guys get hurt. Also a great trade for the Packers, by the way. They got Micah Parsons, but I do not fault the Cowboys for doing it.
Yeah, us neither.
Yeah, we're fine.
We're good.
Thank you.
What a mess. Imagine if you're Jerry Jones going, hey, guys, look at all of the things. And Green Bay's like, you can have all those things. Actually, you're good. We're good.
Yeah. No, we'll take Micah. We're good.
It also looks like the Packers are growing up, Josh. They are now the 5th youngest roster in the NFL. The last 3 years, the youngest team, like literally 3 years in a row. The average age overall this year, 25.64. And obviously, Micah Parsons helps bring that up a little bit.
Yeah, very true. And I'm okay with that. I don't think that you need to continuously be the youngest team, especially when it wasn't yielding the results you wanted. It wasn't like, hey, as long as we can stay the youngest team, we're making it to the NFC Championship game every year. No, we're getting the 7th seed and then getting eliminated. I'll take it. Let's switch it up just a little bit.
Young and healthy is a thing. Only the healthy thing hasn't been a thing.
We've just been young.
Just young.
Need both.
So now we're adolescent, not just babies anymore. And we have experience.
Yeah.
And let us pray.
Let us pray. Yep.
Dear God, please keep the Packers healthy this year, even though they're, getting up there in age, I guess. Careful, things change when you get older. Brewers. All right, the Yankees are in town. They're in town, right? They got to the Pfister last night, I'm guessing.
I would guess, yep.
Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
Yankees at Brewers, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, AmFam Field tonight, 6:40, the first pitch, Saturday, 6:10, Sunday, 1:10. The idea here is this. The Brewers, 19-16, but that means 4th place in the NL Central. The Yankees, 26-12, first place in the AL East. We've been saying that all we need back are the guys that have been injured. I know we don't have Yelly yet, but we're going up against a first-place New York Yankees team all weekend. Josh, are we ready for this? Is this going to paint a picture as to who we are right now, or is this, it's early, no worries?
I mean, it's definitely still early to say that this series against the Yankees is going to define what this team is this season. However, I think this is an opportunity to prove to the fan base and to the rest of the NL Central, yeah, our guys are back and so are we. You have the opportunity to make some noise with Churio and Vaughn and Bowers and Terang and everyone now having a better chance at seeing some pitches when you have some power back in the lineup to send a message and go, yeah, we just took care of the Yankees at home because we're back.
And the marquee matchup tonight, Max Fried and Jacob Mizorowski on the mound for the Brewers. We're also honoring, we mentioned there at the top, CC Sabathia and the late Dave Parker are being honored tonight with the Wall of Honor, the Brewers Wall of Honor. I know CC is going to join the broadcast tonight. Levering prefaced that earlier in the week. And maybe just the message is this. CC, listen, we know it was just a matter of months, but we love you, man. We love you.
The feeling's mutual, because it was some of I always say that was my favorite summer I've ever had playing in the big leagues. The feeling's mutual. I still love Milwaukee, and it's great to get that love from the city for sure.
Audio courtesy of Channel 3000 in Madison. Yeah, the feeling's mutual, all right, as in probably the greatest Brewers memory of my lifetime so far, other than the home run with Brandon Woodruff in the NLCS in 2018. But other than that, Josh, maybe that's a good top 5 list for a different top 5
It
Friday.
is, yeah.
The top 5 Brewers memories of our lifetime. CC Sabathia clinching the playoffs for the Brewers in 2008 for the first time in both of our lifetimes.
Yeah.
I think that might be my number 1.
It's definitely in my top 5. I don't know. I got to think Nyjer Morgan's hit, being there to see that against the Diamondbacks, to go to the NLCS, that was something. That game against the Cubs that we were at and getting past the Cubs in 2025, that was something. There have been a lot. There have been a lot of great memories, but absolutely CC's run and then having that complete game, that's up there.
When that moment happened and you played it there as the show opened, I can picture exactly where I was, how I was watching the game. I believe my wife took some pictures of that moment. I think I was watching the game with my cousin's MLB.TV login on my laptop, which weighed 1,000 pounds, which was sitting right below the 55-inch plasma TV that I had back then, which also weighed 1,000 pounds. And bam, we watched that happen.
Oh, it was incredible. It was an incredible moment.
We forget how hard it was, by the way, to actually watch a Brewers game back then.
Yeah, you go back and you look at like replays of that game. I was like, man, 2008, the quality was not as good as I remember it being.
Right. But boy, we were on top of it then. Whoa,
oh, yeah.
What? You can stream?
It's like I'm there.
A Brewers game? Now it's, what do you mean we have to stream a Brewers
I
game?
know.
Anything going on in Madison?
Badgers.
No.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
It's wild. I don't know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, but waiting for it to happen is brutal.
Yeah, I'm telling you, at some point soon, there's gonna be a day set of, all right, as a fan base, how long are we waiting before we go?
Yeah.
TikTok. Let's go. Get a guy.
TikTok, it's NBA draft lottery weekend.
Bucks.
All right, so literally, what does this mean for a few different things here? We'll get to what it means for the actual lottery pick, in quotes, that the Bucks may get, question mark.
Mm-hmm.
We'll break that down for you. But first, Brian Windhorst yesterday on ESPN kind of laid out what the NBA draft lottery looks like in regard to the Giannis situation.
Two pieces of information that are going to be available now for the Bucks that weren't available in February when they last had talks. Number one, the lottery is Sunday. They're going to know who has high picks. Teams who might have high picks might have interest in Giannis. That's very important for a possible trade. Secondly, there's going to be new tanking rules, and that's going to really go against tanking. The Milwaukee Bucks can't look at a Giannis trade and think that they're going to tank their way to a high pick. That's going to be over. So they're going to want it probably, if they're going to trade him, and Giannis could just say, I want to extend, and this goes away. But if they're going to trade him, they need to trade him for players who can help him right now.
Maybe Giannis is going to say, I want to extend, and all this goes away.
Right.
Based on what Haslam said the other day. Maybe not.
Who knows?
So this whole Bucks pick situation is weird, Josh. Have you looked at this at all in regards to how this shakes out and what the expectation is?
I tried. I had to take a nap in between because my brain was hurting.
All right, we're going to do our best here. This is dicey. The whole thing stems from the trade with Drew Holiday. At least that's our understanding. New Orleans got swap rights on Milwaukee's 2026 first-round pick. But then New Orleans later moved that asset to Atlanta. So now, again, we think Atlanta gets the more favorable of the 2026 Bucks first-round pick and then the 2026 Pelicans first-round pick. So essentially, it's the Bucks swapping with the Pelicans still, but then the Pelicans hand it right to the Atlanta Hawks. The Hawks get the better Bucks-Pelicans pick, and then the Bucks get the worst one. Follow? Good.
No.
Perfect.
No. What?
What I heard them say, though, as they broke this down, was this. Wherever the Pelicans land and wherever the Bucks land, let's just simple math here. Bucks get the 5th pick. Pelicans have the 10th pick. Boop, that switches.
Sure.
The Bucks get the 10th. The Pelicans get the 5th. But then it sounds like the Pelicans go, hey, Atlanta, here you go.
Right.
Here's that pick. Now, what's crazy is, were the Hawks at all in any conversation or thought for Giannis? At all?
I don't think so. No.
Me neither. There's a chance that they end up with, from what I can tell, potentially 2 significant picks. Does that entice the Bucks at all? Like, I'm starting to think about, what does the package need to look like for Giannis if indeed they go down this path? And I'd like to think that draft picks and more younger developmental style is where the Bucks are going to go if they don't have Giannis anymore. And so, to Windhorst's point there on ESPN, they're going to find out, the Bucks, who has the picks that they may want, along with if they can connect those picks with a team that has an asset or 2 or 3 that they want. That might actually open up the door for exactly the package that they're looking for to deal Giannis to a different team.
Well, and that's where it becomes interesting, because it doesn't necessarily have to play out the way of us sending Giannis to a place where Giannis wants to go, right? It still needs to make sense for the Bucks. If the Bucks can get another really high top draft pick in this year's draft, that's way more enticing than, well, Giannis wants to go play in New York and they're willing to trade some Scriboon plus a couple of picks. Okay, well, how does that help the Bucks, right?
Right.
So it'll be interesting.
We also need to prepare ourselves for emotional meltdown on Sunday when the NBA draft lottery happens. Why? Because, so you're saying there's a chance the Bucks could end up with a first, second, or third pick based on how the lottery balls fall.
Right.
And we got to hand that off.
Just know that there's a really good chance that you're going to be excited and then disappointed, but still okay. No matter what, we're okay. That's the main takeaway. It's not like we're trading our pick and we're going to be 19th or 20th.
We're still up there. And remember, the anti-tanking pieces per Windhorse kind of come into play here in terms of how this looks in the future. So that too goes into whatever this trade may or may not look like for Giannis. But per what we heard from Jimmy Haslam, it starts with the lottery, and that starts the clock. Between then and when the NBA draft hits, we will know what's going to happen with Giannis Antetokounmpo in that time span. Whether he signs because the Bucks offered him to sign. God, the wording was awful with him.
Yep.
Or they trade him, and we're going to see what we get in. But get back. Okay, I might have just had a moment.
Did you?
I think so. I don't think I was emotionally prepared for when that moment hits until just now. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Yep. It just literally, you watched it and heard it happen. Whoa. Like this is all of a sudden, I think it's because for months, Josh, we've been talking, I mean, hell, for a year, we've been talking about what this could look like. And it's all been this bum, bum, bum.
Right.
Buddy, we're here. And like, they told us we're here. And now it's like, oh, damn, we're here. Okay.
I'm excited for us to be here because I just want an answer.
Sure.
Because I haven't been allowing myself emotionally to feel one way or another because I don't know what's going to happen yet. So I'm just prepared for it to happen one way or another so that I can feel however I'm going to feel.
Does that feel better, though, or more tolerable for you now that you met him?
Yes.
Isn't that fascinating?
Because whether it's this season or in 4 years or in 12 years or whenever, at some point, Giannis is going to not be playing basketball in a Bucks uniform. It's just going to happen. And I've accepted that fact. And so the first line for me personally was, can I meet him before that happens? Can I thank him? Can I get my photo with him before that happens? I checked that box off. So now I'm just waiting. Now I'm just waiting to feel however I'm going to feel emotionally of, is that moment that I have to say goodbye to my favorite athlete ever? Or is it not? Do I still have time? I just need to get to that point.
Selfishly, for these purposes only, I hope it happens when we're on the air. Because that would be amazing.
Boy, I hate that. I hate that. No, I don't need everyone seeing that in real time. Give me a night to weep.
Process.
Leave me alone.
All right. Anything else?
Anything else?
2 things. You got anything? I got 2 things.
Go ahead. I saw yours.
My number one is that SmackDown is coming to Green Bay in the Resch Center. And you might recall, I've told stories the last time we went to a WWE event here in Green Bay. It was myself and Riker because I was trying to connect with Riker because he doesn't necessarily like sports.
Yep.
And in that night, we all fell in love with it. But I think the person that fell in love with the most was my wife.
Yes. Not the betting favorite.
Didn't see that coming. Not the lottery ball we thought was going to come to the top.
That's right.
So we see that SmackDown's announced that it's coming to Green Bay. Tickets go on sale next Friday, the pre-sale next Thursday. We're not telling the boys, who are both either sleeping, and Riker's definitely not watching this. And if he is, surprise, SmackDown's coming to Green Bay. So stop asking me about SummerSlam in Minneapolis, because SmackDown's here the Friday before SummerSlam when they head up there for the 2-day event at US Bank Stadium that first weekend in August. So I'm jacked about that. Number 2, why in the hell have you worn the same hat all week? I can't handle it. There's a reason here.
There is. It's for Kirsten in Green Bay, who pointed out, if you're watching us on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter at WI Sports Radio, you'll see I wore this a pink hat that what was it, Monday? I don't know. Whatever day I did,
All
And-
the days.
And then I also wore it Tuesday because I picked the shirt first. I went, oh, this hat goes with that too. And she said, Josh, you have 300 hats and you're wearing the same one 2 days in a row. Are you feeling okay? And I was like, oh no, I picked the shirt first and then the hat matches the shirt. But now I'm going to make it a game. Now I'm going to try my hardest to wear the same hat with an outfit every day this week. Mission accomplished. Wasn't that hard?
Okay. And next week we're going back to the same old, same old?
Yeah.
We're going to change it? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Didn't mean to give you anxiety about it.
Well, I just didn't understand. I mean,
I know.
second day in a row, she said something. Then you wore it again. I'm like, all right, I got it. I don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
You have so many hats, many different shirts.
How's that list that you were keeping, by the way, of every hat I wore?
Whole Google spreadsheet.
Remember? Start of the year.
Super easy this week.
Yeah.
Super easy this week.
Yeah, there you go.
Banger.
Yep.
Copy, paste.
That's all you got to post.
All right. When we come back, the question of the day was actually posed to us yesterday, and it has a lot to do with reminiscing about CC Sabathia and that being the start of the Brewers' comeback, if you will, over the last almost 20 years. Holy mother, 20 years ago almost.
I know.
That's wild. In that time span, the question today is, if the Brewers would have stayed in the American League, would they have made it back to a World Series again by now? 414-677-1250. The Nicolay Law talk and text line. 414-677-1250. If in the AL, would we have finally been at least back in the World Series or still dealing with the same feeling that we are now of only having punched that ticket one time in forever, always? That's the question of the day. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Glad ready. The 1-2 pitch. Ball lined to Yount. It's short. He throws. It's over. The Brewers have won the American League pennant. Milwaukee, you have a World Series. Thousands of people streaming onto the field at County Stadium. It is absolute pandemonium. They are surrounding the Brewers. They have defeated the California Angels 3-2, and they now go to the World Series. Absolutely fabulous.
Bob Uecker on the call. Brewers Radio Network. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. The question of the day in the I Have Questions portion of the show, amongst all of the things that are top of mind for you. What questions do you have for us?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wish this little Euchre Magic 8-ball, making a mess, would have worked better. You just can't read it very well. Like, maybe one day we'll just use this and have Uke answer all the questions that you have.
That would
God,
be great.
am I getting old? What does that say? Odds just a bit outside. Well,
still love it.
Maybe that's the first answer to this question. Amongst your questions, 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talking text line, because we have answers. We're just going to probably make them up. I have questions.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question. Can you fly this plane and land it? Surely you can't be serious.
Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
The question of today was actually posed to us on the Nicolay Law talk and text line yesterday. And it is just that. Since 1982, when the Brewers were in the American League, it has been a big fat 0 in terms of getting back to the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
If the Brewers were still in the American League, would that have happened by now? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. It's relevant conversation because a team that has been there quite a few times since 1982 are the New York Yankees, who are coming into town tonight to face the Brewers in a 3-game set Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And obviously the Brewers, if you haven't heard, are featuring CC Sabathia with the Wall of Honor celebration tonight, which I kind of like that it's against the Yankees. And I can't decide if that's a tip of the hat to CC, like, hey, man, we'll do this with the team that you clearly had success with, or if it's a big to the Yankees to go, we had them first.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But nonetheless, if you look at the AL and break down the teams and specifically think about some of the teams that the Brewers had the most problems with before they came into the NL, if they were still in the AL, would they have punched their ticket back to the World Series by now? What do you think, Josh?
Well, I think for starters, you got to look at the division. So they would have still been in the AL Central, right? Which currently is the White Sox, Cleveland, Detroit, Kansas City, and Minnesota. I don't remember a lot of those teams having a ton of success in the 90s and early 2000s during that stretch when the Brewers were bad. I don't know.
Back the bus up for just a second. So let me just, this is all off the top of my head. We know the Twins were good, Kirby Puckett. And didn't they get to the World Series, if not win one?
They won one. They won, what year was that? I'll tell you right now. They won 3. They had one in 87. Oh, you want to guess, Yellen?
I was going to guess 87.
Okay.
Just kidding.
87 and 91. So they won 2.
The Royals won 1.
Yeah, but the Royals won 1 in, they had 85 and then in 2015. So,
and the Guardians, former Indians, were pretty good there for a little bit. They had Kenny Lofton if memory serves me right, and also Jim Tomei, they were in the mix in the AL in the 90s and early 2000s quite a bit. One of my best friends in high school, Jesse McDonald, was a huge Indians fan back then, and they were really good for quite a bit, if not winning one of the World Series.
Yeah, they didn't win one in the 90s. The last one they won was in 48, but they made it. They won the pennant in 95 and 97. So I guess in the, if you're not looking at it now, if you're just going, if that team from 82, right? Like if that keeps going, because they were still, you got to remember, they didn't go to the NL until 97. What was the Brewers team in 97? Like it's a big stretch when you think about the ebbs and flows of a professional sports franchise from that's 15 years. It's a 15-year difference from when they made it to the World Series to when they moved on to the National League. I don't know. I don't know that really would have mattered. I think they would have just gotten their butts beat in the AL instead of the NL. They just didn't have a great team in the 90s.
Well, what about from 2008 until today, Josh? If you look at the AL Central, those teams, I mean, the Tigers have had a good season or two. I feel like they were in the mix a little bit. But other than that, obviously the Royals had that one that we just mentioned. The White Sox have been horrendous for quite a while. I don't think the Twins have done anything since the days that we just talked about. And the Guardians maybe made some noise the last few years here. But other than that, the majority of those in the AL that were worth a hill of beans came from the other divisions. Right. So there's a piece of me that goes, okay, hold on. If the Brewers were in the AL Central since 2008, let's say, we maybe would have been in a much better position with the best of the Brewers teams since then to actually get back to the World Series based on who was going those years for the AL. The Yankees have always been a problem. This we know. But are there other major teams? Blue Jays had that run that were pretty good. I remember the Carter days.
I mean, the Red Sox.
Yeah, they took it quite a bit there, and especially that series that we actually talked about yesterday against the Yankees.
They had a few good years.
But isn't that something? Like here we sit, maybe it's because we don't have the knowledge of the AL because we've been in the NL since 97. But it's a fascinating conversation. It kind of makes you think and it almost makes you mad. You're welcome. Happy Friday.
Yeah, I think that it's an interesting thought. I think that the biggest thing that the Brewers have faced when you really think about those teams since 08 were the NL Central was good. The Cubs still were putting up a fight. They had good teams. The Cardinals were obviously always the Cardinals, just aggravating us. And then when you got past, that 2015 mark, 2016 mark, then it was, we've been in this land of the Brewers winning the division or at least being competitive and making it via wild card to the postseason with this division. So I don't know necessarily that a ton changes with the outcome if they're in the AL instead of the NL, because the Brewers are still taking care of business in the division. So whether they're doing it here or they're doing it in the AL Central against Detroit, Minnesota, the White Sox, and Cleveland, they're still going to be in the same point. Bob in Minneapolis chimes in, by the way, and says,
on one today.
He says, the Yankees clobber the Twins every year. The Twins and the Brewers are basically the same team. Disagree with that. If Yankees beat the Twins, they'd have clobbered the Brewers. I do think that there definitely would have been more of a rivalry between the Brewers and the Yankees. That would have continued. But I don't think that it would have been the same fate that the Twins have ran into for so long with the Yankees. But yeah, I still don't think they get over the mountaintop. I also want to use this as an opportunity to point out there are way too many years where I hear people say, man, it really sucks that this Wisconsin sports team fell apart because their conference, this is wide open. This would have been wide open for them to go all the way. Yeah, every team's saying that. But it's not reality. Who knows how it would have actually shaked out if they would have been there? You don't know. We don't know. I hate that as a consolation of, oh man, how weak was the Eastern Conference this year for the Bucks. Man, if the Bucks could have done something. Yeah, but they didn't because they sucked. They were part of the suck. That's how it works.
The 920 on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. 414-677-1250. No, the challenge the Brewers are facing with the Dodgers in today's game would have been the Yankees if they would have been in the American League. The Los Angeles Angels, the San Francisco Giants, they were all pretty good teams in the 2000s. That's true. True. The 715 reminds us that the White Sox were pretty good in the 90s and won a World Series in 06.
I thought it was 05. Either way, yeah, right there.
Well, 4, 07, Niner.
Yeah, BJ Raji. Yeah. Yeah, 05. They won in 05.
Bob in Minneapolis. All right, bud. Hear me out on this. Sometimes we get out of bed on the wrong side. It happens to the best of us. When our teenage boys wake up the way you've woken up today, we make them go take another shower. And we literally say, rinse off the attitude. So, Bob, if you haven't showered today, go rinse off the attitude.
Yeah, there you go. All right, I'm bringing this up and just looking at the Brewers' season records year by year and trying to figure out, like, what year after 82, or not even 82, like if you go, what was it? They moved to the NL in 97. Right?
97, yeah.
So from 97 on, they weren't above 500 until
92.
No. After 97, 2005. So 2005, they finished third with an exactly 500 record. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think if this team would have stayed in the AL when they went to the NL, it would have mattered because the Brewers just weren't good. They weren't good until 2007 and then into 2008. That's why we appreciate CeCe so much, because he was a part of the literally revitalization of the Brewers and into the team that we're getting to enjoy today. It all really started maybe the year before him in 2007 when they went 83 and 79.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. These are the things that you think about when you had the lack of appearances in the World Series that we've had since 82. It was a fascinating question that got posed to us yesterday on the Talk and Text line, and we thought it was worth kind of bringing up here and just thinking about what could have been. Oh, what was with P.J. Tucker and the 2021 NBA champion Milwaukee Bucks. His speaking is the most electrifying sound of the day. We'll play that for you next. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
It's time for
The most electrifying.
Sound of the Day
The most electrifying.
on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
Durant. Fouled. And if it's on Tucker, that's going to be his fourth. As Tucker and Durant get into each other's face. Tucker now yelling at Kyrie Irving.
No, it's crazy. That's what everybody like. When I came in, they're like, "Yo, you gotta like show, like you gotta be the dog," and I'm like, "Man, we got dogs. Like they just saying, like we, like I got here, like we already got dogs. They just don't know how to be dogs, and we gonna be dogs. And our dogs is crazy. We got dogs. You hear me? Milwaukee, we dogs."
PJ Tucker, his speech at the Bucs Championship Parade is our most electrifying sound of the day. Brought to you by Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. We talk all the time about when a team in Wisconsin, they just seem a little soft. They need that player. We need to get that guy, that scrappy guy, that dog. They need a little bit of that dog in them. PJ Tucker is that dog. He was for that team, Trevor, in 2021, exactly what they needed him to be. It didn't matter how many points he scored. He was on the court in that series against Brooklyn for one reason and one reason only, to get in Kevin Durant's face. And he did, night in and night out.
And right after he announced his retirement, he signed a lifetime contract to be the spokesperson for Top Dog Law.
There you
go. It was
go.
the craziest thing.
He really should. They're missing out.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. Josh and I were talking in the break about how professional athletes get to retire whenever they want.
I mean, he's 41, right? PJ Tucker, 41. And you were like, man, when I'm over 40.
Well,
yeah.
I'm 43. When I woke up on my 40th birthday, everything changed in my body. Things hurt that didn't hurt, and they have not stopped hurting since then.
It was just a switch that went off.
It literally is. Do other people feel this way too? I mean, maybe I'm just out of shape, whatever. But I feel like 40 changed everything. So for him to retire at 41, or the news with Rodgers breaking that he may likely be back with the Steelers. Buddy, he's 43, same age as me.
Yeah. I know. Well, and then you look at Taylor Heineke, who also announced yesterday that he was retiring. Taylor Heineke playing QB. He played for the Commanders when they were, I don't know, whatever they were at the time. But he's 33, and he's hanging it up. And I went, man, that must be nice, huh? Just go, you know what? I'm good. I'm good working the rest of my life.
And this is why sometimes Josh and I go, oh, save it for the air. Because right after that, we talked about how it must be nice. It must be nice to be able to retire when you're a professional athlete at any age you want to. It pisses off fans. Like I remember when BJ Raji decided to hang it up. We were all like, but
yeah,
you're good.
Well, what do you mean?
Now, for personal reasons, he had some sick family members and everybody understood. But come on.
Yeah.
And then you said
that. Yeah. And then I said, well, and then they retire for a while and then they get bored and then they go, you know what? Let's go host a radio show or a podcast. Anyway, make sure to check out 9 to Noon with Kuhn and the Mason Crosby Show right here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Great lineup we have for you.
Nailed it. Oh, my God. Oh, so funny. I'm glad it was funny the second time, because when you said it the first time in the break, I'm like, no.
You wasted it. No,
yeah.
I had it.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. What is your age that you're going to retire at? I wonder how much. What's your retirement age? I have a goal. Josh apparently doesn't.
No, I'll be working till I'm dead.
This is not a difficult job to do based on age, unless you lose your marbles, then everything's difficult to do.
Which does happen.
And many of them are still on the radio too, but
True.
I digress. What age is your target retirement? I'm just curious to know. Those of you listening across the state on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, Wausau, Duluth Superior, Milwaukee, Appleton, Green Bay. So many of you right now. What is your target age?
You know what? I thought about this too. And now I'm a little frustrated. I'm glad the Morning Mind Dump's coming up next. What other industry can you work your whole life to try to get in and then have someone that already made all the money they need just come in and swoop in and take that job?
Oh, are you talking about like this?
Yeah.
And professional athletes?
Yeah. You think about all the people that go to school for media, be broadcasters, and it's like, well, yeah, but this guy played 10 years in the league. We're going to give it to him. I'm just like, if you want to be like I want
to go to break now so we can just talk.
Manager. If you want to be a manager of a company and then like, I don't know, some trust fund baby comes in and just takes that and goes, oh, I got plenty of money, but now I want to manage your business. Damn. Like that doesn't happen, right? You don't see that. Does that only happen in broadcast?
Probably.
It might. Damn.
Oh, at least you're getting it all out, man.
Oh.
I mean, we do have another segment where we dedicate time for this, but that today is dedicated to the conversation we had yesterday. So we talked about why we hate the Yankees and why we hate the Dodgers. And then somebody brought up in that conversation, well, look at the NFL. The money's even and the hate is regional. So if we look at the country in the NFL lineup, who do we hate for apparently no particular reason? And how many people still hate the Packers? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. That and anger based on professional athletes deciding, hey, I got a second career.
Yeah, I could do that.
Do whatever I want. I'll stop there. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
On the corner, a called strike three. Sabathia only getting stronger here in the late inning.
And there was never a time in my career where I took the mound and I knew I was going to win a game. During those 2 months and 3 months in Milwaukee, I felt like every time I took the ball, I was going to win.
On the ground, a chance here. Durham to Hardy to first. In time! Yes! The Brewers win! Yes! Sabathia, a complete game. And the Brewers beat the Cubs 3-1.
Man, that was fun. Remember it like yesterday. For the record, CC, we knew you were going to win too.
Yeah. And that's what got us so jacked. No one could touch him.
We also knew that we had zero chance of affording you.
Also true.
So when you left, it didn't hurt. I mean, it hurt, but it didn't.
Still
you know
hurt.
what I'm saying? It did, but...
Did it hurt more because he went to the Yankees?
Well, there's that. I still think we need to put CC Sabathia in one of these Wisco jerseys. Walking out to the mound. We have to.
Listen, they're going to wear them tonight, right?
Yeah. This is a Wisco jersey Friday.
It would make sense that he put one
I
on.
know. That's the only chance we have.
Please.
Well,
which is more powerful? CC Sabathia's luck or the Wisco jersey's bad luck? Which one
Seriously.
will overcome?
Well, this is what it looks like when worlds collide.
True.
Tonight, CC Sabathia at AmFam Field getting inducted to the Wall of Honor in the Milwaukee Brewers, along with the late Dave Parker, as the Brewers take on the Yankees tonight, tomorrow, and Sunday in those Wisco jerseys that they're currently no W in, or as my son just put it over the break, who I call and say hello to at the 7 o'clock top of the hour every day. Dad, they're Wisco in 4. I was like, well, that
nailed it.
Totally stealing that. Hey, what's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in.
Hi.
Hour 2, Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Yes, hello.
And the Malott Meets Morning Mind Dump. Yesterday, we had a long conversation about why we hate teams like the Yankees and the Dodgers. And it's typically because of money or, for the most part, the winning side. But we noticed in the conversation that the hate is different in the NFL. And people brought up on the Nicolay Law Talk and text line because the money is even. So the hate follows the winning, and it also follows regions. So other than ours in the NFC North, the Bears, the Lions, the Vikings, who we hate with a passion, who else in the NFL do we hate and why? And turn it on itself, who hates the Packers and why? Time for the Malott Meets Morning Mind Dump.
I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
The coffee is kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We got no food. We got no jobs. Our pets' heads are falling off.
It's time for the Morning Mind Dump, presented by Malott Meats. High-quality meats at a fair price, safely delivered to your front door. To learn more, visit WisconsinMeatMarket.com. Experience the power of the family meal with Malott Meats on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
The power of the family meal is upon us this weekend. Between now and Sunday, you can still head to WisconsinMeatMarket.com and place an order and get 10% off a tenderloin. Steak for mom on Sunday, courtesy of Malott Meats. Visit WisconsinMeatMarket.com. So who in the NFL do we hate? We know we hate the Yankees. We know why we hate the Dodgers. But who in the NFL takes that cake for us outside of the NFC North? That doesn't count. We know that. And then who do you think hates the Packers and why? 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. Let's get that out of our head and off our chest. And let us know what else may be bugging you. Sometimes it's Josh and I getting things off our chest and out of our head. Sometimes it's a therapy session for you. Bob in Minneapolis, what do you got going on today, buddy? Who did say, and I called it. Yeah, little testy today.
Testy today. Sorry about that. Yeah.
414-677-1250. All right, Josh, who do you hate the worst in the NFL and why?
See, for me, it always went back to the Patriots because they won. Because they won all the time and because it was Brady. And I think it was because of the way that they won and how Brady would find ways to win as I was watching elite Hall of Fame quarterback play in Green Bay. And yet Brady was finding ways to win. And that was very frustrating. So it was the comparison to my team knowing, yeah, I got a really good quarterback here. And Rodgers is more accurate. He's winning MVPs over you, but you're winning Super Bowls. I don't like you or your team. And so that was always the biggest one for me was the Patriots.
Mine was the Cowboys because I was a 90s kid, and the Cowboys and the Packers in the 90s was almost a bigger rivalry than the Bears, Vikings, and Lions.
True.
And we could never beat them. Now, we haven't had that problem in a while, and knock on wood, now we have Micah Parsons, and they have all of our sloppy seconds and a couple draft picks. But nonetheless, it was always the Cowboys, but that had to do with winning. I'm trying to think back if there was another team in the NFL based on winning that was outside the division, at least in the early years of my childhood. The other team, I guess, that comes to mind is the 49ers. We've struggled for years to beat them. Obviously, the T.O. years in the catch, but also in the I can't remember his name now. I just had it and it's gone. That's 43 at its best.
What? Who had Dez?
Who was the quarterback for the Niners for so long? So you can't think of it either?
No. Hold on.
No. Is it a Kirkpatrick? Wow.
Oh, God.
Hey, good. This is why we lose our jobs to professional athletes when they retire.
Yeah, here we go.
But I feel like it was the Niners for years. Neither of us can think of it. Happy Friday, Wisconsin. And you know what? Here's the best part. By the time we look it up, the talk and text line will have answered it 17 times by then.
Yeah.
We still don't have it. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. So outside of our division, who do we hate the most in the NFL? Because this has nothing to do with money, right? The money's equal in the NFL.
It's true.
But yet it sometimes does because of how you manage money. And then you get a player like Tom Brady who also gave up money so that they had more money to put players around him. And you said money there.
Yeah, but still, like, isn't that more than you're looking at a fault of your organization? I don't know. Maybe some people can associate hate with another team in that way. I don't. I look at that internally and go, that's a problem with us, not a problem with them.
Also, are there? Yep, Kaepernick nailed it. Yep,
yeah.
We are absolutely talking about Colin Kaepernick. Just couldn't come up with it. I knew there was a K and a ick. At some point, just couldn't figure it out. Yep, Colin Kaepernick. That's
block
exactly
out
right.
all those memories.
We had to. We didn't have a choice. That guy ran.
I don't want to talk about that right now.
Oh, well, this is the segment. Bad news. Get it off your chest and out of your head. But that was a problem for a while, a long while. The 414 says, I hate the Seahawks. Pete Carroll was a clown. Okay, that's interesting because I've always had a soft place in my heart for the Seahawks.
Yeah,
and I've never been able to figure out why.
You have, but you're also in the minority there. I feel like there have been moments that have happened with the Seahawks. Obviously, losing in the NFC Championship game, that was one of the most, if not the most brutal loss
Here's the problem.
Wisconsin sports history.
That had nothing to do with the Seahawks.
Well, but it was against them.
I know.
And so
I'm
you're
just
still
saying
associated.
That game was wrapped up.
You also had the Fail Mary, with the replacement refs. That was against the Seahawks.
Which, by the way, have they figured that out yet for this season? I think that's coming again.
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't think so either. We would have seen it.
But so they, you had that. And then you also had the one that was good in our favor that you associate with them with Al Harris and the pick of we want the ball and we're going to score as well. So there were moments. Absolutely. I think that's part of it too that builds this is there are different ways to look at a team and your hatred towards them. Even if they're not in the division, if you face them in the playoffs, in the postseason enough times to where it built a rivalry, you're going to end up hating that team. Doesn't just have to be because you play them all the time. For example, the Brewers play the Pirates. Do you hate the Pirates?
Not even a little bit.
Got nothing against the Pirates. Nothing at all. You know why? Pirates have never done anything to my Brewers. Not a damn thing. So I don't care. But how do you feel about the Mets? Don't like the Mets. Hate the Mets.
For one moment only,
though.
For
one moment. That's all it took.
Yeah.
Hate the Mets.
You don't do that to Bob Uecker. That's all.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't necessarily have to be just that they're division rivals. It's either they were really, really good at winning or they did something to my team.
The 414 says Seattle, Dallas, for reasons we just talked about. The Giants and Philly because of history. They probably hate the Packers for the same reasons. So that's interesting. NFC Championship 2008.
Mm-hmm.
The Giants. Not the first time they beat us in the playoffs either.
Yep.
I don't hate them, though. I don't have this memory bank of hate for the New York Giants.
No.
Same thing with the
either.
Eagles. I don't have that in, but on the same token, there are teams like those that hate the Packers for the exact same reasons we're talking about. I think people also hate the Packers, and you've said this before too, Josh, that there is a bit of an entitlement in Titletown.
Mm-hmm.
I live here. I don't feel that way. What am I missing?
So there's a big comparison between the Packers in the NFL and the Cardinals in Major League Baseball of two storied franchises that have a ton of history, have won, not necessarily recently, but have a history of winning championships that hold themselves to a different standard, right? And so there's just a different mentality being a fan and a different expectation being that type of fan that other fan bases look at and go, well, good for you. Oh, Mr. High and Mighty, holier than thou. And a ton of NFL fans feel that way about the Packers. They're sick of seeing they had to watch the Packers have back-to-back Hall of Fame QBs. They had to watch the Packers continuously make it into the playoffs when their teams couldn't do it. And we weren't like, oh my God, we did it. We were like, yeah, of course. We're the Packers. That's where we should be. We're mad we didn't win the whole thing. We're mad we only made it to the NFC Championship game. And they go, oh, yeah, I'm so sorry that you continuously get to be competitive and make it to the NFC Championship game. Meanwhile, my team has had the top 3 draft pick for 4 years in a row and can't make it to the playoffs, period. So it's that type of reaction from outside fans looking in.
Do you think, though, that we have the ability to be that way because we don't have an owner to be mad at?
No. I really don't think that plays a role in it because that's not the way it is for the Cardinals. I don't think that's necessarily it. I really think it is just history and tradition, and you have some hardware to back it up, even if it's not recent, right? Because that's the big thing. We could be entitled back in the day when we won the first couple Super Bowl. No one could touch us. Same thing with the Patriots. That was a jealousy hate. That wasn't Patriots fans are so entitled. No, they kept winning. Sucked. Everyone wanted to be them. That's different than the Cardinals and the Packers.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. It's the Malott Meats Morning Mind Dump. We talked yesterday that we hate the Yankees and we hate the Dodgers for obvious reasons because of money and winning and Brewers and all those things, especially because of players that also left the Brewers and went on to play other places like the Yankees and CC Sabathia. That's actually the next topic in the next segment on a Top 5 Friday. Who are the top 5 professional athletes that left the team in Wisconsin that we loved and went on to be just amazing somewhere else.
Or like if they're a Hall of Famer, like they were here for a short period of time. Maybe they had their best years here, but they're not going to be repping a Wisconsin uniform in the Hall of Fame because they were only here for a couple years, even if those were really good years.
Somebody on the Nicolay Law Talk and text line in the 262 said, could you say that Green Bay Packer fans hate the NFC West more than the NFC North? I don't think any other division has stomped on Green Bay's postseason aspirations quite like the NFC West. For those of you that aren't in this profession, the NFC West, and or a huge sports fan, but yet you love the show, thanks for listening, number one. Number two, here's who's in the NFC West. The Seattle Seahawks, the Los Angeles Rams, the San Francisco 49ers, and the Arizona Cardinals. So to this person's point, more often than not, it's those teams that we meet in the playoffs, not another team in the NFC North. And so often the Packers have been in the top two spots in the NFC North. That typically has also come along with that wild card spot in the playoffs. Hashtag number 7 season. There's a lot to that, I think. For me, it's the Niners. They're the worst.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And again, in the 90s, it was the Cowboys in the NFC East.
It was the Niners a lot, and then the Seahawks a little, right? Like, I feel like that was the majority of it from the West.
Do people also hate the Seahawks because of Mike Holmgren? And is there a little Seahawks jealousy of John Schneider being the GM out there, who's a De Pere boy, Northeast Wisconsin, born and raised, was clearly on the Packers staff? You want to talk about trees of excellence in terms of the front office in the NFL? That's another thing that people might hate the Packers for. We breed excellence in the front office, and then they go other places, whether it's Elliott Wolf now in New England, John Schneider. There's been many more.
Yep.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and text line. Ooh, here come the names that we're going to get to in a Top 5 Friday of the names of people that were here in Wisconsin that left and then had awesome careers. Good for you. Stephen Richfield, did that one make your list, Josh?
Kareem?
Yeah.
Yep. I have a list of guys that either I think might be in the Hall of Fame someday and aren't going to be in a Wisconsin uniform, or are in the Hall of Fame but not in a Wisconsin uniform. Even though they had some magic moments here, they won't be remembered outside of the state as that player. And I go, damn, that sucks.
All right, so let's do it. A Top 5 Friday on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Who makes your list of players that played here in Wisconsin and either went on to have great careers somewhere else, or maybe had some good years here? They'll be in the Hall of Fame, and they're not going to be in our uniform. They'll be in someone else's. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and text line. A Top 5 Friday on Inside Wisconsin Sports. Stay here. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh on a Wisco Friday for our Brewers as they face the Yankees in a uniform that has been absolute dog S. Wisco and 4. Yay, us.
Yikes.
But it's CC Sabathia night at AmFam Field. The Wall of Honor is in his near future. And that leads us to this Top 5 Friday list. Who are the top 5 athletes that played here in Wisconsin that went off and did really well somewhere else? Or maybe they did really well somewhere else, but came here too, ended up in the Hall of Fame, and then didn't sport our jersey. It was that other one where they were. 414-677-1250. The Nicolay Law talk and text line. Josh, who are your top 5?
Okay. So first, I know you like to sometimes throw in some honorable mentions. I'm going to do that as well.
Yeah.
So my honorable mentions first, Kareem, who you brought up during the break. And for obvious reasons, right? Like Kareem was here. He won championship with the Bucks. And then it seemed like could not have been more excited to get the heck out of Milwaukee and go and make a name for himself somewhere else. And that was unfortunate. Go to the Lakers. Then you had Russell Wilson was my other one.
Okay.
Now, I know that wasn't pro franchise, but he only played 1 year at Wisconsin. It was a great year, obviously, right? 2011. But like it was a very short stint with his time in Wisconsin. And I always thought like, okay, so was that enough? Was that enough to claim Russell Wilson as like our own if he goes into the College Football Hall of Fame or however that ends up going down? I don't know.
Okay, well, one sign is how they identify themselves when they introduce themselves in the starting lineups when they're in a premium game, right? Let's meet the starting lineup for the Seattle Seahawks. Russell Wilson would come on TV and go, Russell Wilson from a whole den of Badgers. And I was like, oh, that's nice of you.
Yeah.
What do they say now? They're high school?
Yeah, I don't know. Now they don't take it seriously at all. People say the goofiest stuff. But so those were my honorable mentions. Okay. Number 5 on my list is Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday was essential to the Bucks winning that championship in 2021. And he said, I'm a Buck for life. And then at no fault of his own, he got traded. He got traded away for Dame, 3-way trade. Then he goes and he wins another championship with Boston in 2024. And he does that, and I go, oh, man. Now, if at some point something happens to where he actually made it, I don't think he will, but if he made it into the Hall of Fame, do they look at him and they go, well, yep, that however we're enshrining him, it's going to be in a Celtics uniform. He played the majority of his career also for the Pelicans as well. So keep that in mind.
Yeah, but now it's like eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Which jersey do I
go? Right.
Go. Right.
Right. Number 4 was Raleigh Fingers, who Hall of Famer, athletics is where he is. It's not, even though, right? Huge part of that team, that 1982 team. Number retired by the Brewers, but he was an athletic. Number 3 on my list is Charles Woodson.
Oh, man. That one just hit me in the feels.
Because I feel like the entire state of Wisconsin loves Charles Woodson. But
how does he identify?
Oh,
that's gross. So here's the worst part about that, if I may.
Yeah.
When we were out in Vegas for the Packers-Raiders game, Charles Woodson was featured on the Jumbotron.
Yeah.
In black and silver against the Packers. And no.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. Like they've used Charles Woodson at Lambeau as a hype up the crowd. But he played his first 7 years in Oakland and then played his last 2 in Oakland. I would be stunned if he doesn't end up going into Canton. He's already in there. Is Woodson in there? He's got to be as a Raider. I can't remember. But it's people associate him
gross.
with the Raiders.
It's gross. I hate it. It's gross. That one I did not have on my list. And I wish you wouldn't have, because now I'm not happy. That sucks.
Sorry about that. The last two I have, number 2 is Reggie White. Like Reggie, we associate Reggie so much in Lambeau, but I mean, Eagles. He's the Eagles, man. That's the jersey that's hanging in Canton is an Eagles jersey. It's not a Packers jersey.
This hurts way worse than the original list idea that we talked about.
Sorry.
Way worse.
And the number one guy who played for a Wisconsin team, but I don't see highlights of it, Hank Aaron. This thing about how much we love Hank Aaron Trail. Hank Aaron, I mean, we loved Hank Aaron. And it's Atlanta Braves. It's the Atlanta Braves. Well, no, it was the Milwaukee Braves. It was the Milwaukee Braves. And then he came back, and he still played with the Brewers. Atlanta gets Hank Aaron.
That. Your list sucks.
Well, listen, the whole catalyst of this was because we're honoring CC Sabathia, who would have absolutely made this list if I allowed myself to put him on it. He would have probably been on there instead of Drew Holiday. But I didn't allow it because that was the reason we did the list. CC Sabathia was exactly that. It was the same thing. We had the guy. We're very thankful for their time here. They did amazing, wonderful things here. They helped us win championships here. But they're not being remembered fully on their career with that time that they're here.
Rhino says that players in the NFL aren't inducted into the Hall of Fame associated with a specific team like they do in baseball. Maybe so, Rhino, and it's the team that you think of, right? Like for Charles Woodson, very much Raiders that you think of. Not us, but pretty much everyone else.
Right, so maybe they don't associate with a specific team, but society does. If you go outside of the state, Rhino, they're not going, oh, yeah, Charles Woodson, he played for the Packers. They're not. They're saying Raiders.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and text line. Who makes your list? It can't possibly hurt me worse than Josh's.
I'm sorry.
Honorable mention. This is kind of a fun one. This doesn't qualify for the list, but I just thought of this now. Matt Vasgersian.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Matty V.
There's a guy who was in Wisconsin doing work for the Brewers, doing good work for the Brewers.
Yep.
And then went on to do great work other places, including still today.
Yep.
Number 5 on my list.
Santa Maria.
CC Sabathia. Granted, we had him. We know. That's why it's happening tonight. But he was the 2009 World Series champion and the ALCS MVP.
Yep.
It's not that we didn't expect that to happen. It's just that when it did, it was like, this is why we can't have nice things.
Yep.
4. Although not really painful, it's still interesting to see when guys that backed up Brett Favre go on and do things other places, and they're pretty good. Matt Hasselbeck backed up, then became the franchise QB in Seattle. He went to 3 Pro Bowls and Seattle's first Super Bowl. Number 3, and I'm shocked this didn't make your list, Ray Allen. 2-time NBA champ post Milwaukee.
That's a miss. That's a miss by me. I think maybe just because when Ray Allen was here, our big 3 still didn't get it done.
Yeah.
Big dog,
Eastern
Sam
Conference
Cassell.
Finals.
Right.
Game 6. But then he went on to win championships in Boston and Miami.
Yep. And so what team? What team do you associate him with? I would say Miami.
Yeah, probably. Oh, that sucks.
Yep.
I don't like
sure
that.
Does.
I don't like that list at all. Like, I don't. Didn't even put my brain there until you started talking. I'm like, wow, that really sucks. Number 2, and this is allowed and live on the Nicolay Law Talk and text line from so many of you, which we're going to get to because there are a ton of names coming through that are not on Josh or I's list. Gary Sheffield. He hated being in Milwaukee.
Yep, he did.
And then went on to be a career 292 hitter and 500 home runs. And he was on a bunch of different teams, so I don't care who he associates with. It was just the fact that during that time, the Brewers really could have used a guy like Gary Sheffield to go, nope, I want to be here. This is my team. This is where I want to stay.
Well, and the thing is, remember, it's at least the way I looked at it is top 5 favorite athletes who played for a Wisconsin team but played the majority / best years somewhere else. So
that was one of my favorite Brewers growing up.
Yeah,
Gary Sheffield.
Was Gary Sheffield?
I remember it like yesterday. And then it was Greg Vaughn. I mean, those were the guys that carried the biggest sticks for the Brewers in my childhood.
Sure.
And to see them that is the first memory I have, Josh. Gary Sheffield is the first memory I have of a Brewer not wanting to be a Brewer because it's the Brewers and wanting to go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Then that's when the fight started. And number 1, Lorenzo Cain. The Brewers drafted Lorenzo Cain.
Yeah, Lorenzo Cain has an interesting story with Milwaukee.
Then he went to Kansas City, was an all-star. He was the ALCS MVP, a World Series champion, and then came back to Milwaukee. I was like,
then still didn't.
Yeah.
So
it's you were here, you were gone, you're back. Now, I will give the Brewers credit, and you would agree, they did him right.
Yep.
We all knew he was at the end of his career. We all knew it was time for him to move on, and the Brewers allowed him to stay on the active roster until he qualified for, was it the 10-year mark or something like that in Major League Baseball, which comes along with things like retirement, insurance. I mean, there's that in the NFL as well. Don't quote me on the number, but the Brewers did really well by him, and that was cool to see. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. Here we go. Well, some of these are, what could have been.
Sure.
TJ Watt makes it on the list. Played at Wisconsin, passed him up, traded down instead of trading TJ.
Yeah, see, any of the Watts, you take any of the Watts, and I don't associate them with this list because they dedicated their whole career collegiately to Wisconsin. And then it's not like they played a year for the Packers and then went and made a name for them somewhere else. So the whole Watt family, I still feel like on some way, shape, or form is on a different list of they were here, but we associate them positively somewhere else.
There was a chance there, though, that J.J. Watt was going to be a Packer, and then came out and said he wanted to be a Packer, and the Packers never made an offer.
Yep. Yep, and that coming after they had the opportunity to get T.J. Watt and didn't take him.
All of the above.
Mm-hmm.
B. Hintage in West Dallas says, I'm just waiting for the first idiot to say Dirk Nowitzki. You're it, bud.
There you go.
Nobody else has brought it up.
Congratulations.
Did we list Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? We did. It was on Josh's list.
We talked about Kareem.
Ted Simmons. Trevor Hoffman.
So Hoffman's a good one that I want to talk about because absolutely loved that he got his 600 save in Milwaukee. Made sure I was there for that. Definitely top 10 moments for me as a Brewers fan being in attendance. However, we knew when he was here, we knew he was going into the Hall of Fame as a Padre. Like that was established.
Yeah.
Even if they would have won the World Series, he was going into the Hall of Fame as a Padre. He played his entire career there until he came to Milwaukee. Also, when he was here, he had personal accomplishments, but he was not a part of the team in 2011 to make it to the NLCS. He was here in 2009 and 2010. So he was here right up until it. So I appreciated that he was here, but I don't associate in the same way. He didn't give a ton to Milwaukee.
Gave a ton to me. That was the Trevor.
Love him. Love him.
And that was, so I think I've shared this before, but that was the Trevor, along with Trevor Kidd, who was a goalie for the Flames. That might not be right either, but his first name was Trevor, and that mattered to me when I was young. And then I met Trevor Hoffman. I know I've shared this before. Had him sign a ball. This is grown Trevor now with a wife and kids. And I said, dude, I was such a fan of yours. And he goes, how old are you?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. Math's not mathing.
Here's a good one from the 414. How about the inverse? He's thinking of a player here that is remembered as a Packer, but he completely trashed his legacy here and should not be forgiven for that or remembered as a Packer. He's talking about Brett Favre. So there's the circumstance of, well, you too turned your back on us in quite epic fashion, if we do say so. And then you went on and put on that purple jersey, and then he came back to Lambeau, and you beat us here.
But he's still like he was there for a very short amount of time, and he didn't win anything. To be honest with you, what could have made this list was Craig Counsell. I loved Craig Counsell. He was one of my favorite Brewers. And then he became a traitor. Everyone hates him. And I was here going, people ask, like, well, do you think you're going to, like, will Brewer fans ever accept him again? And I always said, it depends on what happens next. If he has his stint with the Cubs, he ends up not making it to where he needs to with them and moves on, whether it be to another organization or just calls it a career. I think at some point, someday, some fans will accept him back. Not everyone, but some will. If he takes them past the Brewers at any point, that's it. He's done.
That's bad. And right now, this is probably not a great time to bring this up, but they have not lost in the month of May.
I know. The
Brewers,
and they swept the Reds.
Do we understand that the Brewers are 5.5 games out of first place already?
I don't. Now, this is what I don't want to talk about.
Well, but it's hard. But to your point, the wound is not only fresh, but they're pouring salt out of the big dark blue salt container. Not just a little. It's literally pouring out of the fountain of that thing right into our wound, which takes a hot second to recover from.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. If they could stop, that'd sure be nice.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. We'll continue the convo. Who makes your list of your favorite athletes that played here in Wisconsin that went on somewhere else and you're like,
yeah, like CC Sabathia.
Like that. Even though we knew.
Yeah, even if we knew.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. I just love that part of the song. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
The Queen of Spice is heating up breakfast at Wendy's with new items like their jalapeno sausage, egg and cheese biscuit, jalapeno bacon, egg and cheese biscuit, and a spicy side twist of jalapeno bacon seasoned potatoes. Got to get them now while you can. Spice up your morning at Wendy's.
414-677-1250. That's the Nicolay Law talk and text line here at Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh and the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, the studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. We're asking you, and you are sharing, names that played here in Wisconsin that went on and played somewhere else and had a better career, or they came here after having a good career and played here, and then we don't remember them as they played here because they played somewhere else. That one, Josh, on the top of the list right now, is not one that I would have thought of at all, and I absolutely do not remember him as a Buck. But Tony Kukoc.
Oh, you don't remember Tony Kukoc?
No. I absolutely remember Tony Kukoc.
I'm saying
I just don't think of him as a Buck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He was with the Bulls in the era that we were all watching the Bulls and not a lot of the Bucks.
Yeah, but he also, he had a stint. He was fun to watch.
He did, but again, per your examples, that's just not one that makes that list in terms of remembered as a Milwaukee Buck, but a good stint.
Yeah, 4 years.
What about Prince Fielder?
Prince is a really interesting one. I feel like Prince would have followed in the same way as CeCe if he wouldn't have gotten hurt. If he could have stayed healthy. He went to Detroit and then to Texas, and then that was it. I think that Prince had potential to really be something. I think he would have had to find a way to win, though, a ring somewhere else for him to be remembered not as a Brewer.
Could have been way worse.
I think right now, if you would ask a random person, what team do you associate with Prince Fielder? Brewers. The Brewers are in the conversation.
True. Here's one that hurts again, and I didn't have on my list and probably should have, and I'm annoyed that it was brought up. Paul Molitor. Ugh.
Well, Paul Molitor, I think, is a Brewer in the Hall of Fame, though.
Well, but to our point here, went and won the World Series with the Jays, won the World Series MVP with them, and then had his 3,000th hit with the Twins.
Right.
He was a great Brewer. Don't get me wrong. But still, it's like, I would have loved you to do that here. Ned Yost is an honorable mention here, too. Fired him before the season's end in Milwaukee, goes on to the Royals and wins back-to-back World Series. Gross.
Yeah.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law talk and text line. There's many on these lists and many that we had on ours. The Ryan Brauns, I guess, doesn't count because they just bring up steroids right away. Whatever. Move on.
He's definitely associated with Brewers. He never played anywhere else.
I think they're just annoyed.
Oh.
Friday. I expected people to be in a better mood on Friday. Maybe
I'm
that
in
was
a great mood.
I'm in a great mood, too. I just don't. Bob Minneapolis maybe got us off on the wrong foot today.
Come on, Bob.
You know who's not going to get us off on the wrong foot?
Who's that?
Tim Allen.
That's right.
Have you ever had a conversation with Tim Allen that you didn't hang up from and go, God, that's awesome?
One time.
Why?
When we got rid of Peralta, when the Brewers got rid of Peralta, and we immediately talked to Timmy, and he's always positive, and he was going through it that day. And we left that conversation going, is Tim going to be all right? One time we had that happen.
The franchise himself, Tim Allen, joins us at the top of the 8 o'clock hour to talk about the Yankees coming to town. CC Sabathia gets honored tonight with the Brewers Wall of Honor. He's thrown out a first pitch. We've been joking all morning. I think it would be wise to put him in a Wisco jersey because he is a winner. And these jerseys are not. I'm wearing a jersey today.
Yep.
I got for, I think, my birthday.
You're wearing the jersey.
Now, what did I promise you, though? I promised you that I would never have that.
Yeah, no name on the back?
No name, no number, no nothing. I'm horrible luck when it comes to jerseys I get for players.
Yep.
So this jersey, the Wisco jersey, plain Jane, baby.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should have had you put like Otani's number on the back or something.
Oof.
Well, I'm just saying, if the bad luck streak is going to work, let's have it attack someone else.
I don't know. I wish I could figure out why that's such a streak, but it is. I hate it. Somebody just chimed in. Kaepernick. Yeah, that's another valid point. He's from Wisconsin.
Yeah, well, that's a whole different list. Wisconsin-born athletes.
That didn't stay home.
Right.
Which are so many in college right now. Don't get me started.
Yep.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talking text line. Our guy, Tim Allen, joins us next on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
On the corner, a called strike three. Sabathia only getting stronger here in the late inning.
And there was never a time in my career where I took the mound and I knew I was going to win a game. During those 2 months and 3 months in Milwaukee, I felt like every time I took the ball, I was going to win a game.
On the ground, a chance here. Durham to Hardy to first. In time!
Yes!
The Brewers win! Yes! Sabathia, a complete game. And the Brewers beat the Cubs 3-1.
I forgot that was against the Cubs.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. So made it even more spicy.
Well, I was so tuned to just, holy crap, we're back in the playoffs.
True.
CC Sabathia's performance, audio courtesy of Fox Sports Radio. Nope, Fox Sports
Wisconsin
Wisconsin.
TV.
See,
A little bit of
Valley
MLB Network
Sports.
in there.
How many different TV things have they had?
Like 17.
Really? It's crazy. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in. Hour 3, Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
It's CC Sabathia's night. Getting honored tonight at AmFam Field, along with the late Dave Parker, as the newest additions to the Brewers' Wall of Honor. Also, this just in, right before that, there will be a sacrifice of a live chicken and rum offered to Joe Boo to get these stupid blue jerseys, which I love, off the schneid.
Yep.
Good God.
They need it.
Joining us now on the Nicolay Law, the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Wrong law. Our guy, Tim Allen. Timmy, what are we going to do about these jerseys, man? I think that CC should wear one for the first pitch to knock out all the cobwebs. What do you think?
Yeah, that's going to do it. Something has to break here. Facing a lefty tonight, so that's going to be a little more challenging. But man, hearing that highlight on, as you guys talked about on Brewers TV. How about that?
Yeah, we'll go with
FanDuel
that.
or Bally's or but hearing that, it just brings you back for those that remember. And here's the generational difference, I think, amongst Brewers fans. We have to remind somebody that's 24, and God bless you, you're 24. You are amazing.
The your body must feel great.
Oh man, I love you guys at 24. But at 24, okay, we have to remember and remind you guys that this team went through a 26-year run without making the playoffs. If you're 24, you go back 10 years, that's all you know is this competitive, high-end division winning and into the playoffs and all that stuff. And, they haven't totally climbed the mountain quite yet. But remember when CC came in 08, in July of 08, when they made that deal, Doug Melvin made that deal. He felt that drought was going to end that year. And when he made that deal, he gave up quite a package to get CC, and you knew it was a rental. You knew full well that CC Sabathia was not going to take the money that the Brewers offered. They offered, I want to say it was $100 million for 5 years. Well, he went on to make a lot of money with the Yankees for the next 11 years after that. But man, hearing I call it the yes, yes, yes call from Rock there. You heard the highlight.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, no cheering in the press box, people. That's why I don't go in there, because I can't cheer. They'll throw me out. But prior to that, I call it the voice crack call by Brian Anderson on the Braun home run late in that ball game to untie a 1-1 game and a 2-run home run. So that was a huge call as well. But remember, I threatened, for what it's worth, I threatened not to be a Brewers fan, guys, if they didn't make the playoffs in 2002. Okay. So I went into that season, and Sparky can attest to this. I said, if they don't make the playoffs, I mean, that's it. I'm going to be a Rockies fan or a White Sox fan, or there's never a Cub fan, obviously.
No.
But
who would do that?
But then after about 6 games, I was of the 2002 season, I was like, no, you can't change that, or at least I couldn't. So then you fast forward to 08. So the year stacked up after that. Still another handful of years. They didn't make the playoffs. That was, I know the Brewers went to the World Series in 82, and that was just amazing. And the city was going crazy. It was equivalent to what happened with the Bucks run 5 years ago. But that 08 season, it united the entire community. It united Wisconsin, the state of Wisconsin, the sports fans. We were just so into it. It was an amazing season. And CC, I got to say, yeah, they had a stacked lineup too. No question. But CC was the catalyst of that, without a doubt.
So then, Tim, we talked about just before we brought you on, we had a whole discussion about players that played for Wisconsin, a Wisconsin team, and then went and had more success or remembered more outside of their time in Wisconsin based on CC, right? CC came, he did great things here, but he's going to be remembered as a Yankee. So
yeah,
what can you think of one player in all the time that you've called Brewers baseball and talked about Brewers baseball that would also fall in line with that conversation?
Well, Gary Sheffield went on to a pretty amazing career. I mean, he didn't want to be here too long. Prince Fielder would have, and the neck injury really kind of shortened his baseball lifespan a little bit. But he would have, man. You want to. I mean, if you're a hardcore Brewer fan and get your emotions involved in it, you go back and search out Prince Fielder's retirement speech at the podium. Ooh, boy, it's hard not to shed a tear for that dude. I mean, it was crazy. But there were blips on the radar. Greg Vaughn went on, I want to say, to a 50 homer season elsewhere. So yeah, there are some, but a lot of people say, well, why did they trade that guy? Because look at him. Well, Michael Brantley in the CC deal went on to a really, really good career. And he was really the one loss in that trade. So there are some, but there aren't that many. When people say, they trade away all their good players and then they go on to heighten things. That's not, they're not in abundance, guys. They're really not.
It's Tim Allen joining us on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. All right, let's segue into what is this weekend for the current team in our Milwaukee Brewers. We had Jeff Levering on earlier in the week. We made sure that we talked about not hitting the panic button, even though as it stands right now, they're 5.5 games out of first place. Yet for some reason, these next 6 games against good teams and the Yankees and the Padres really feels like this is either when we're going to find ourselves here a little bit or, oh, geez, oh, God, oh, crap, oh, no.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a test, and the Yankees are a good ball club. They just called up one of their prospects who has, teetered a little bit. He used to be, I don't know, somewhere around 40 in all of baseball in a prospect. His name is Jones. But a big dude, big, fast guy. I mean, he's 6'7" as an offensive player, but yet a couple of years ago stole 43 bases in the minor leagues. So, but yeah, they're a good ball club. And I think you take it one at a time here until the Brewers get kind of right. And I don't think they're quite right yet. I think everyone could agree with that. But it does take a little time. Now that they've got some reinforcements back, I think Yelich is still a big absence in this lineup. He really is, for a number of reasons. But now that they have Jackson Chourio, and man, wow, that kid, we have not seen the potential in that kid yet. We just haven't. He's that good. I mean, he is pure good. And so him and Vaughn back, there's going to be a little adjustment here. There's going to be some chemistry being developed. How do other players get the right pitches to hit? How do you keep the line moving? But I would say this, heading into a series like this, or against the Dodgers or against the Cubs, some of these better teams, give yourself a chance to win every series. Just give yourself, we know you're not going to win every game, and I'll be upset if they lose tonight. Don't get me wrong. But it's not the end of the world. You can bounce back and win tomorrow. Then that sets you up on Sunday to win the series. Think you have to take it like that until you can just roll on a honeymoon like that team to our south is doing right now. Oh, this just in, they just hit another walk-off. They'll come back down to earth, and the Brewers will have runs like that this year. This offense, I'm still saying, guys, this offense is good, and we haven't seen them yet. They're good. When you have a Sal Frelick, and I know his numbers aren't crazy good. I understand that. When a Sal Frelick is hitting 7th or 8th in your lineup, something good is happening or going to be happening with this offense. So just sit tight, but give yourself a shot. I think my hope would be that they win one of the, I would love them to win 2, but win one of the next 2. Win tonight or tomorrow night, and then we'll play for the series on Sunday.
Tim, at what point do we start to worry about not even just how the Brewers are doing, but just the fact that the Central is just a powerhouse right now?
It is. And well, that should be a concern now, a fun kind of concern, a fun battle. That's a challenging situation. I think people forget 3 teams did make the playoffs out of this division last year. I've heard some and read some national stuff, and they're like, ooh, can the NL Central have 3 playoff teams? They already did. They did last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it's going to be a dogfight. But again, if you and this does happen, guys, you run into a freight train, you just run into it, and no matter what you do, you're still chasing because one team is on cloud 9. I'm crossing my fingers here, all right, that isn't that team to the south. They're rolling hot right now, but winning, 17 of 20, whatever it is, 18 of 21, 17 of 20, that can't hold up, you would think, right? That's going to come back down to earth.
But did they not say the same thing about us last year?
And it didn't, right? It pretty much did not. So we're kind of hoping 2 things. The Brewers sort of adjust here, and they will, and they're a good ball club. They are. But you're also hoping that the Cubs can come down. And if not, you're going to have to take them down a notch yourselves. When the Brewers face the Cubs here in that series coming up, you're going to have to, those are huge games. They are. And I hate to put, and I will not put the whole season on a Cub Brewer series in May. You just shouldn't do that. That's
Sure.
That's a fool's errand. But I will say that those games are heightened. Look at the wingspan of each game. It's a 2-game swing, guys, because we assume that that's the team the Brewers are going to be chasing for the next whatever weeks. At the bare minimum, you'll be chasing them for a few weeks. So those games are huge, and let's find out what happens. And I think the Brewers are up to the challenge, man. We haven't seen the best of the Brewers quite yet.
We did see the best of the Brewers in 2008 with CC Sabathia, and many times since then. But we had a conversation earlier, and so Tim, last one before we let you go. Somebody asked us on the Nick DeLay Law Talking text line whether or not the Brewers would have punched their ticket back to the World Series if they would have stayed in the AL. I understand that nobody's got crystal balls or any of the things that would allow us to talk super smart about that, but I wanted to get your take. What do you think?
Maybe they might have, but you also have to, within that same question, you also have to look at the expanded playoffs, which does allow teams that normally would not have gotten there to go up and win a World Series. In other words, look at the records prior to, Just say, for example, look at the late 70s and 1980 and 81's, split season. They made the mini playoffs, I guess, winning the half a season there and facing, obviously, ironically, the Yankees. But you have to look at those records too and base them on today's playoff structure. They may have won a World Series in the late 70s with Bambi.
Oof. Interesting.
But it's hard to predict though, Trevor. It's
impossible,
it's really tough. It does take things to fall right. Working with, I think there's one guy, and I don't mind saying his name, the one guy over the years that I've worked with, Leroy Butler. He really stressed the point, and it sort of hit home to me that a lot of things need to go right to win a title in any sport. Very rarely do you get this Dodger kind of thing where at the end of the day, you look back over your shoulder and you say, well, we should have known this the whole time. That's rare. Things have to go right. Look at the Bucks run. Things just went right for them. And so that rings true for me. So it's hard to predict those sorts of things. But we can say this, that had there been expanded playoffs, there wouldn't have been a 26-year drought. There may have been another World Series appearance. They were good baseball teams under Bambi at that time. And people forget about that there was only a few teams that made the playoffs. I mean, you look back at baseball, I mean, just 4 teams made the playoffs for many, many years. There's 4 divisions, and off you went. You just had a division winner, division winner, division winner, division winner. And it going back even prior to that, you just skipped right to the 2 division heads, and they faced off in the World Series. So you didn't have all that. So when we talk about all the Yankees, at one point the Yankees had won about 25% of all World Series for about 75-year run. They had won, 25% of them. That's not the case anymore. You're seeing expansion, as you guys know, and obviously I've talked about. The NCAA tournament is expanding now to 1.2 million teams to get in. But yeah, it's hard to predict that. But I mean, what's in front of the Brewers has been super cool. So I'll end where we started here. When you're enjoying Brewers baseball these days as a highly competitive team, just remember, when you look up at your parents or your grandparents or guys my age, we went through 26 years without this. So enjoy it.
Tim Allen, after the last pitch, make the switch on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Timmy, we'll talk to you tonight.
You got it. See everyone tonight.
Thanks, Tim.
When we come back, Jim Ozarski from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel joins us to talk about the upcoming weekend that is the NBA Draft Lottery, how it went in his eyes when we heard from Jimmy Haslam and John Horst and Taylor Jenkins, and what his thoughts are on Giannis's comments. Lots to cover. We'll talk Bucks next. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Joining us now on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. On Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Our guy, Jim Ozarski from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Hey, Jimmy, good to see you again. We appreciate you jumping on. Lots to cover in the last year life. We just chatted with Jim a few weeks ago on the Inside Wisconsin podcast, and it was kind of a wait-and-see period of time. Not so much anymore. We waited. We've seen. And we have a lot of ground to cover. We're going to start with Giannis because that's pretty much where we have to. And there's so many things that are going to play into this in the coming month, if you will, but specifically this weekend. But let's backtrack for a hot second. Jimmy Haslam laid out for the first time our expectation of what we should see in regards to Giannis trade or no trade, contract or no contract. You put out an awesome article that same day in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Let us know what you know.
Yeah, thanks for having me. So to start with Jimmy, yeah, he pretty much put a deadline, although it is artificial in a way, of the draft of the 23rd or 24th to say, you know, this is by then the Milwaukee Bucks will pick a direction with their star player. And that's to either trade him or to move forward with retooling around him, which will eventually lead to an extension. I think it's, again, important to remind everyone that despite all of this talk from ownership about he's either going to sign an extension or not, he's not allowed to do anything on that until October. So it's kind of cute to talk about it in the spring, but that means he's on the team in October, right? That's sort of an unspoken part of this, but the deadline and when pressed, Jimmy says, hey, the draft makes sense because if you're going to move him, you want the most assets. Read between the lines. That sounds like a 2026 first round draft pick has to be in the mix. I'm guessing adding the 27th pick isn't much of an appeal. That would just be me. I'm thinking if you're in the top 10, top 8, we've seen the history in the NBA, a 20th pick, a 29th pick. I don't know what that does for you in trading Giannis, right? And then, yeah, I spoke to Giannis about Taylor specifically, and he's offered his endorsement as a coach, as a player. Remember that they were together in 2018-19 when, A, the team won 60 games, and B, Giannis won his first MVP. So, I understand, guys, people read into Giannis's tensing and things like that. And all I'll say is I've known him since he was 18. I wouldn't read too much into that other than the owners of the team have said, we might trade you. So I think it's a little fair that there's some disassociation maybe with saying the Milwaukee Bucks as opposed to we. I understand people were parsing that out, but also let's be real, guys. He didn't have to say anything, right? He didn't have to do that. So, that's, I guess, to kind of run through that, Trevor and Josh, how I sort of took those kind of big comments from a co-owner and star player, a couple days ago.
Jimmy, good to talk to you, bud. Glad to have you on the show. The big question that I never thought would pop into my mind that has as of late is there a chance that the Bucks front office and the Bucks organization just doesn't even offer him the Supermax? It seems like a far-fetched idea. It was always going to be Giannis's decision of, does he sign it? If not, then the Bucks are going to trade him. Is there any chance that it comes down to where the Bucks have already made the decision? Yeah, we're just going to trade you. Doesn't matter if you want to play here on, with the Supermax or not.
I mean, it's for sure possible if you're talking about trading him in general. You've already taken that first step, guys, right? We talked to John Horst in early April about, in the past when teams called the Bucks, the answer was no. Why did this hang around? What changed? And John, we can only go by what they say and what they do. What he said was, I said no. The difference was teams kept calling. They kept offering things. And this is paraphrasing, basically said, my job is to take that and tell my bosses, which is true. That is the job of every general manager, is literally the job description. And obviously he was not traded, though. Reports from around the league said it didn't sound like the Bucs were that interested. Now, Josh, to your question, maybe they heard something in those conversations of, hey, well, maybe things might change come the draft. Things might change come the offseason. They've already taken the step of being willing to entertain the idea. And once you listen, guys, you know this. Once you listen, anything can happen. I don't know what a Godfather offer is to Jimmy Haslam, to Wes Edens, to John Horst, to the three of them. Now, to your other point about the max, though, Josh, both Wes and Jimmy have said on the record a max extension. I guess it's possible. You get to October 1st, you rebuilt your whole team around the guy with whatever moves you made. You didn't trade him. Maybe you traded your own first-round picks. And then you don't do that. That seems like not just bad faith, but bad business. Like what did you just do the previous 4 months? Yeah.
Well, but the point being, if they're making the decision before the end of June, before the draft, right? Haslam comes out and says that. I'm wondering if there were discussions with Giannis from the front office saying, like, listen, I know we have until October to present you with this, but we're gonna feel out a trade now. We want to get this taken care of now, which I'm just living in this world, Jimmy O, that I could never even have fathomed it being a decision of the Bucs saying, we're not even going to give Giannis the chance to want to stay here. We're saying it's time to move on. But maybe I'm living in a fantasy world and reality is saying that's what the Bucs are saying.
Yeah, Josh, you've hit it on your head. This is now flipped, guys. I wrote about this today, jsonline.com. After 8 years of what does Giannis want? What does he want to do? It is the Milwaukee Bucks' turn, guys. It's their turn to waffle, to say, we don't know if we want him. And that's where it's at. And, it's a weird place for Bucks fans. Josh, you, I think, voiced that perfectly, because it's been so long, so many off seasons of sources and reporting of Giannis's monitoring, and other teams are watching. And no, this is the Bucks right now. This is Wes Edens and Jimmy Haslam being open to trades, and they will decide if they want to move on. Now, Giannis does have some agency in this. Could he look at this and say, wow, you're willing to trade me, so why do I want to be here? And now you turn into the snake eating the tail of Giannis says, well, I'm only going to sign an extension with these three teams out here and not you. And it's not a trade request per se, but it basically is. So it's a dangerous game here, guys. If the Bucks really don't want to trade him, this is a weird way to go about it. But we can only go by what they say, and they say they're entertaining offers. But Josh, you're right. This offseason, these 6-7 weeks or more, this is the Milwaukee Bucks waffling on his future.
Well, it's not like Wisconsin sports fans haven't seen this before in other teams with other superstars. So get your popcorn ready. We're talking with Jim Owczarski of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. He's the Bucks beat guy. And he's known Giannis forever, but he's also been around the NBA for a long time, specifically here in Milwaukee. Will you please, in layman's terms, tell us what the hell the draft situation is for the Bucks this weekend in the lottery? Because Josh and I have tried, and we have no friggin' idea.
Yeah, we'll make this real simple. May 10th in the afternoon, Sunday, Mother's Day. Don't ditch your moms for this, but they will have some ping pong balls to determine the Bucks pick. Their best chances for the number 10 pick overall. That's their own pick. Now, can the Bucks pick number 1? No, they cannot. And why is that, you ask? They may draw the Bucks, but this is part of the bill that was due for Drew Holiday back in 2020, guys. The Pelicans own the right to take the Bucks pick if it's better than theirs. So obviously, if it's number 1, that goes to New Orleans. The best pick the Bucks can make is number 2. That means New Orleans won the thing. So it's more likely than not, guys. The Bucks are 10 or in that range. Let's call it 10 to 12 at worst. Could they land in the top 4? Yes. But now you're dealing with, is this going to New Orleans? Are we keeping it? We'll know that pretty quickly because obviously the lottery is only 12 teams. So we'll know if the Bucks are 12, 11, 10, or all of a sudden something crazy happens and they're moving up the board there. So yeah, it's hopefully that was as simple as I could make it.
It worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now
like it.
I'll add this though, guys. So unrelated to the Bucks, totally unrelated. The Pelicans in Atlanta made a trade. So Atlanta ends up getting what they're going to call the Bucks pick if there's a swap. And the reason that's relevant is, again, this Jimmy Haslam thing of the draft. If somehow Atlanta or New Orleans gets the 1 pick, the 2 pick, the 3 pick, right? And the Hawks take it. Well, what if the Hawks call the Bucks and say, we're going to give you Wauwatosa's Jalen Johnson. We're going to give you Jonathan Kuminga. We're going to give you the number 1, 2, or 3 pick. We're going to give you the number 10 pick next year. That's where this sort of gets interesting on the Godfather offer part of team. And I don't know what Atlanta's going to do. I'm just putting that out there as why the draft is important and maybe why the lottery is important regarding the immediate future of Giannis and the Bucks.
So there will be even more reports coming out from all sources.
Yeah, what do you do on Monday?
What Giannis ends up doing, or best case scenario for Giannis, all based on the ping pong balls.
Right.
Perfect.
Right.
Perfect.
Yes.
Let's quickly talk just about the rest of the team. Right. Taylor Jenkins came in. He talked about the future of Milwaukee and building this team, and I said it's still a rebuild. You're not building the team. You have something. But there have been a lot of pieces on this team, Jimmy O, that a lot of fans have been saying, yeah, these guys have been here for a while. Bobby Portis, et cetera, a few others. Where do you think the rest of the identity of this team looks like going into next season?
Yeah, it's just, you hate to pin it back to Giannis, but look, it's nice for John to say it's a build and not a rebuild. But look, if you're trading Giannis, it's a rebuild. You know what I mean? Like, even if you get a Paolo Banchero or a Jalen Johnson type where they've been to an all-star game or they've been to an all-NBA, like those are not franchise guys, clearly, because their team traded them for the 31-year-old, right? So, and this is a 32-win team. I mean, yes, Giannis was hurt. Kevin Porter Jr. probably will be a free agent. He was hurt. All true. But unless Giannis is here, I don't see how this isn't some form of a rebuild. If Giannis isn't here, why do you have 31-year-old Bobby Portis? That doesn't make sense. Why do you have 30-year-old Miles Turner? That doesn't make sense. So it really does hinge on Giannis. So where I'll go with that, Josh, is I do think Taylor Jenkins is the right coach for either. I think he can push Giannis to the next level of his career. What does that look like? Honestly, we all know, guys, it means returning to that mid-range jump shot we saw a couple years ago that was like 4th best in the league. Probably some more threes. We see Giannis changing his game in a way with Taylor. If Giannis isn't here, Taylor did this in Memphis around a small point guard and John Morant, that within 2 years they were winning 56 games. So I know, Josh, I kind of waffled there on your question, but it does hinge on a top 5 player in the league. But I do think Taylor can get this Bucks team back to a championship level if it's Giannis. And I do think it's not like they're going to bottom out if they don't have him. I think Taylor's good enough to have them win or at least be competitive in the East without a Giannis.
Will you send Giannis one of these Wisco jersey, please? We need like his good vibes as a Brewers owner.
Stop trying to put people in the Wisco jersey, man.
I just needed to get
I was
better.
going to say those are weird, man. Like, I'm not from Wisconsin originally. I'm from Chicago. I've heard of Wisco because I'm not from Wisconsin initially. But I've been here long enough to know that that's weird, bro. Like I'm, you know, like that's.
I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
But
great.
I think Manassas and Alex have one, so I'm guessing you're right, Trevor. Like he's an owner, he's probably got one as well.
Good.
There you go.
Well, as long as people just keep wearing them and don't lose the faith, by God, do we need to win them tonight. All right, Jimmy O, Bucks beat writer, Milwaukee Journal Sentinel. We appreciate you, bud. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks, Jimmy O.
The Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. What's up, Wisconsin, as we cross over with our friends from 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. What's ahead for your weekend? A What's Up Wisconsin weekend? A lot. The answer is a lot is ahead. We'll cover it next. Hear Josh's, share mine, check out what Rami's probably doing in Illinois. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Trevor and Josh want to know.
What's up?
What's up, Wisconsin?
What's up?
What's your plan for the day?
What's up?
What are you doing tonight?
What's up?
Let us know what's up on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
What's up, Wisconsin? Well, maybe you got some youth sports coming up this weekend. And if you do, know that any of your kiddos can score a free small classic Frosty anytime they visit Wendy's in their sports uniform. That's right. Just stop by after practice or with your team after a game. Who doesn't love a Frosty?
What's up, Wisconsin, on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. A Wisconsin sports weekend is probably what's up. Definitely got some youth sports in my future. Maybe John does too. Joining us now from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, for which he is the spokesperson. And I have seen so many of these commercials on television during Brewers games. John Kuhn. So the reason I bring that up, John Kuhn, from 9 to noon with John Kuhn, is
I mean, that was 3 John Kuhns in a row.
John Kuhn.
John Kuhn.
Josh and I were talking earlier about professional athletes retiring whenever they want, however they want, and choosing to do whatever they want. Why did you choose broadcasting?
Well, it's fun. I like to do it, and it was something that kept me close to the game. So, I mean, really, for me, I started doing a bunch of different stuff when I was playing still, and broadcast boot camp was one of them. Packers, they're fortunate in the even in the small market that they're in, they have a boatload of availability for players while they're playing to get themselves in front of cameras, get themselves in front of microphones, and get some practical reps. I did that when I was playing, and then by the time I went to broadcast boot camp, they said, hey, there could be a future here for you. So I was always very proactive about doing something after football and preparing myself for that, because NFL stands for not for long as a career. I mean, I was lucky to get in 13 years, but I mean, and when I say lucky, it could have been 6, it could have been 5, it could have been, 8, whatever it was. I was going to be prepared when I was done.
Yeah. Okay. That's a good answer. The whole reason why we brought it up, John, was because we had two.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
I mean, I didn't know that there was a good answer, honestly, but that's a good answer. We saw PJ Tucker retired from the NBA at 41, and Taylor Heineke retired from the NFL at 33. And we were just talking about, sometimes you get old enough to where Father Time is undefeated, and it's all right. The league is kind of showing you the door. Other times it's, people make the decision in their prime, whether it be injury or something else going on in their lives where they've gone, this is enough. I've had enough. I've made enough. I'm going to find something else to do with my life. And then a lot of times they go into broadcasting. And so we were curious from an athlete. We have a few here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. How it was for you guys to decide, let's do it this way. But
I mean, I think you'd have to ask every individual player when and why and how it went down, because it's all for different reasons. Some guys' bodies are beat up and they can't take the rehab and the constant grind. I loved the grind. I loved having to, even when I was, 34, 35 playing the game of football, having to try and get my body ready to go and compete with these young pups that were coming out of college at 21, 22 years old. And, I always embraced that challenge. And some guys are just, man, I'm just tired of doing this. My body hurts. And I made the decision very early on, because I enjoyed that grind, that I was going to ride that thing until the wheels fell off. And literally the wheels fell off. I got 3 surgeries in my last calendar year in the NFL. So the wheels actually fell off of that thing. And my wife and I, we were prepared for that, and we were ready to go. And I had talked with the Packers 2 years before I retired about calling games for them when I was done. So it was something that was already on the horizon.
Love it. What's up for the weekend, John?
Well, I'm going to do what the rest of us dads do in Wisconsin, which is attend a couple games and probably grill out a little bit. It looks like it's going to be a nice weathered weekend, and then do whatever my honey-do list is. Oh, don't forget, it's Mother's Day weekend. This is when dads go full blast out in the yard and get some flowers and get some aura frames and do all kinds of other good things, because we are those great husbands out there in Wisconsin.
Last year, we built Amanda this giant raised garden bed. And my back reminds me every day how awesome of a Mother's Day weekend we had last year. Josh, what are you doing?
Does she still use it?
God, yeah.
Okay, good.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Okay. Because then it was worth it. Spending time not only doing absolutely whatever Julie wants and needs done around the house, but also it's actually my grandma's 90th birthday on Mother's Day. And so we're going to celebrate her as well.
John, what's coming up 9 to noon?
Well, we're going to get into the Brewers in this series that they're going to start here with the Yankees and what that's going to look like, and can this be a little bit of a barometer, a little bit of a test for the Brewers as we move along? And then we do our normal stuff here on Fridays, which is driving the headlines and playing some absurd sound from the week.
Stay tuned on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network statewide as 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Rami Makloft is next. What a day, Josh. We had Jim Ozarski from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel just now talking about all things Bucks basketball. I feel like his explanation helped us about the lottery thing on Sunday and what to expect. And then he brought up the Hawks. And I was like, oh, God, now I don't know.
If he would have just left that out. I think the biggest thing is that you don't have to worry about it, because once the order is set, then it'll all be explained.
That's it. Let's just wait and see. Our thanks, as always, to Tim Allen. Mondays and Fridays, we hear from him at 8 a.m. Ahead of a weekend for the Brewers and the Yankees. CC Sabathia tonight in the Brewers Wall of Honor. Should be a great weekend out at AmFam Field. We wish all the moms a happy Mother's Day weekend, gentlemen. It is not just Sunday. It is Mother's Day weekend. Let's get it right. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. See you Monday.
Because we're not done yet.